Hello guys, I'm literally back. I'm back home in my room and I'm also back with a new video. And since I am back home and have the house to myself today, I figured I should film a little video for you. Also, since this is going to be probably the last update from me on this channel before Christmas, I figured I should wear a Christmas jumper for you. So this one has a snowman on it. I love it. I am very into Christmas jumpers. I think they are great. So without further babbling, this video is going to be a Q&A, and I asked on Tumblr for questions. So if you wanna send me questions next time, you know, just follow me on Tumblr. It's Saturday Studying and it's linked down below together with my Twitter and my Instagram and my blog. But Tumblr is without a doubt the place that I frequent the most, just saying. Is it just me or does candles make it a lot warmer? I don't understand. It's a tiny little flame, but they always seem to heat up the room so much. I have the questions here on my phone and I'm just gonna do them in no particular order, except for that I'm gonna do all the anonymous questions first. So let's get started, shall we? So the first anonymous question is, what is your first language? And my first language is Norwegian, seeing as I am Norwegian and I'm born and raised in Norway. And my dialect is southern because I live on the very south tip of Norway. How do you feel that your study methods have changed in university? Well, I've gotten kind of a lot more structured, since there's not really homework that's set from, you know, a random class to a random class. It's more like I have one lecture and I have one seminar per week, and in a specific module I know that every week I will have to prepare for the seminar and I will have to do pre-reading, so I can make a weekly plan and know this is going to be the case every week, except when there's exceptions. And that has also allowed me to kind of have a better view from each week of what I need to do every day, and that's really helpful. So other than that, I do the same thing. I take notes in lectures, I type up my notes after lectures, and I prepare for seminars. And when I study for tests, I usually solve questions or reread notes. So mostly I do the same thing, but it's kind of how it's structured that's changed. Do you think they should have changed since the IB? Well, not necessarily. I think it depends a lot if your subjects are similar to what you did back in school. Many of my subjects are kind of similar, so in my more numerical subjects I study kind of like I did in the sciences because they were more numerical. And in my more humanities-like subjects like ethics and managing people and projects, I study more like I did in economics and history, because it's kind of all about the structure of the module and the subjects that you study that will decide how you should best study. Can you talk about the differences between Norway and the UK? This could be a video in itself, but basically I think Norway and the UK are quite similar, especially kind of in culture. And I got an ask the other day asking if I'd had a culture shock when I came to the UK, and I really didn't, because I spent quite a lot of time on Tumblr and on the internet interacting with people from the UK and from all over the world, so I'm not really that Norwegian in my mindset. And also Norwegian humour and mannerisms and stuff are very similar to the UK, except for the politeness. I get so much shit for how rude I am from my friends, because in Norway we're quite like, we don't really talk to each other, we don't say sorry and please, but they do in the UK, so I've gotten quite a lot of shit for that, but other than that it is quite similar. The Norwegian water is much better. Also, somewhere in the UK, like for example in my bathroom, they have two taps, one for hot water and one for cold water, and I'm like, how do you even wash your hands in lukewarm water? Isn't that an option? But other than that, and the fact that they drive on the wrong side of the road in the UK, it is quite similar and I really like it. And I really like this question, is what is your favourite 3 colour combination? And I don't know, I quite like white, grey and black together. I know that those aren't colours, but I'm going to count them as colours. I really like that together. I don't know, I think that's my favourite one because other than that, I can't really think of 3 colours that I like together. It's more like I really like grey and mustard together. I really like white and brown together. I have more 2 colour combinations. And also the same Anna asked if I prefer light or dark colours, and I mostly prefer light colours, but then again my favourite colour is black. So that was all the anonymous questions, so I'm going to move on to butcher some usernames now. That sad student, got that username down at least. She asks, how was Freshers Week and do you have any tips for Freshers Week? My Freshers Week was very dull by most standards. I went out twice, I almost went out a 3rd time but then didn't have tickets, so I just went to pre-drinks. It was very tame. I wasn't a huge drinker before going to the UK. I'm still not a huge drinker, I would like to point that out. So I didn't really drink much, didn't really do much. It was pretty uneventful, but I think it's a great way to like get to know people because there are a lot of stuff going on in the day as well. So you don't have to go out and party like if you don't want to. And also it was great just getting to know my flatmates and getting to know some people. As for any tips, I would just say don't run yourself completely into the ground. It's the first week. Don't get freshers flu, try not to. Also, don't spend all your money in freshers week, like that's just stupid. Please don't do that. The sad student also asks, would you say you work harder in uni than you did in college? Well, I don't know. I think for 1 semester of the IB I worked a lot harder than I do now, but then again I have more structure now, so I have more like a routine that I do, so it maybe doesn't feel like I work as hard because I do kind of the same things at the set time. I don't know. Also, finally, how common is it to get into a relationship in uni? So are you in one now or do you have anyone you like? Well, I don't really know how common it is, but I have seen a few people get together, which I think is really nice. And I think like getting into a relationship at uni is perfectly okay as long as you kind of remember that you're there to study. And I am actually in a relationship, so I think that's quite neat. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Dawn is the Creature asks, do you have any plans after school? Well, if you mean like after finishing my current degree, then yes, I have plans to do a master's degree afterwards, preferably in forensic accounting. If you mean after finishing uni completely, then yes, I would like to get a job somewhere in the accounting sector, preferably again in forensic accounting. Maybe do a qualification, preferably stay in England, hopefully be able to pay rent, hopefully get a dog, but we'll all see how it works out. I'll keep you updated on Tumblr, you can be sure of that. Education Procrastination asks, what was this transition like to go from high school to university? Well, first of all, I would like to point out that I did the IB, but I did it in the Norwegian system, so I don't really know how it will be other places in the world, but I didn't think it was that big of a transition, to be honest, because the IB did prepare me for university, and the biggest thing I think was mostly that there's pre-reading for every class. We had that in school too, but it wasn't to the same extent, and also in school the teachers would tell you specifically read that page to that page, while some of my lecturers now read the relevant material and then you have a book that they don't really follow and you're like, but what is the relevant material, please tell me. So that's the biggest like transition. Otherwise you're a lot more independent, it's a lot more like, you know, if you don't prepare for classes, you know that's sad for you, don't really care. Also there's a lot more like, it's not as busy as school, but I'm very busy still because I'm busy in a different way because there's so much housework and like dishes and laundry and everything like that needs to be done that I didn't have to do before. So that's a really big transition, and I'm still trying to cope. Primark asks, what keeps you motivated? Mostly it's just my end goals. Like for example, I think I want to do work placement module in year 3, and to do that I have to get a 2-1 in my first year. So that's, you know, a goal that I'm working towards. And also I just really want the first. That's currently what keeps me motivated. I'm like, well, you know, if I don't study, how am I going to get a first? So that's kind of it. Grades motivate me a lot, and also it just motivates me a lot to see results, to like see that my work pays off. She also asked, how many hours do you study in a day? I can't even answer that because it varies so much. I have a like schedule for the week of what I plan to do each day, but it differs a lot, like how long it takes, and that usually doesn't include revising, because I revise in the way that I rewrite my lecture notes and I take down notes for pre-reading and I prepare for seminars. But then if I have a test, I will revise for that in addition. So it depends a lot. Like on Wednesdays I only have one thing set down, that's do pre-reading for one of my most disliked modules, just because I know that's gonna suck all energy out of me. So it depends. It varies from day to day and also from week to week, depending on how lazy I'm feeling. And finally she asks, what do you recommend for someone who has trouble concentrating? This is gonna suck. You just need to put away your phone. I'm so bad at this because I like to keep my phone close by in case someone texts me. But the truth is, you just need to put it across the room. Specifically, I'm very lazy, so I have shelves above my desk, so if I put it on the top shelf, I'm gonna have to, you know, get up to get it. I'm not gonna do that. So that's what works for me. Otherwise, there's apps like Forest and what's it called? The other one, it's called Focus Timer. That's the one I use. So stuff like that. Also write a to-do list that keeps you motivated and like lets you cross things off. That's how you cross things off. Mostly just put away your phone, please. It does wonders. And finally, Venera's Life asks, how do you keep organised and how do you prepare for a test? I keep mostly organised by having a bullet journal or a planner, whatever works for you. I'm currently using like a tiny little bullet journal, but when it comes to exam season, I'm going to start revision, then I'm going to go back to a planner, because then I can plan my entire week more easily, and I really like that, and that worked for me last year. But I think that's really important, like make a plan of what you're going to do, write down all your tasks, write down all your deadlines, just get it in writing or on your calendar or whatever you need. Just make sure you have it down. Also have a binder with all your handouts, or have folders on your laptop with all your notes. Just make sure you have everything in one place, because you're gonna be like, oh, I'll just put this paper here, and then you're gonna forget about it, and then you're gonna need it for the exam, and then you're not gonna be able to find it. Believe someone who's done it. That's my 2 main things, and other than that, I just figure out what works for you. That's the most important thing. And as for how I prepare for a test, it depends what kind of test it is. If it's multiple choice, I'll mostly just read over details and do a lot of multiple choice questions. If it's like essay questions, I'll read a lot and like try to critically think about the things I read, like try to make connections to other parts of the syllabus. Especially in ethics, we have a lot of critical analysis, and so I try to actually apply that in my reading. It really depends on the subject. I mean, for some subjects it works to do past papers, in some that takes way too long, so I just study, just read, or like take notes. It really works for me to take notes. I really like to look at information, then condense it and sort through it in new ways. That really works for me, but yeah, it varies from module to module. And that's all the questions I got. I hope that you enjoyed my answers and that you maybe learned something new about me or something else. I don't know really. I hope you got something out of this video, or that you at least enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, because I would love to see if you liked it or not. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, hit the subscribe button down there and you can be notified whenever I put up a new video. You can also follow me on Tumblr and on Twitter and on Instagram, and head over to my blog, it's all linked down below. And other than that, have a very, very, very Merry Christmas, and I hope you'll have a great time with friends and family and that you greatly enjoy the holidays. Even if you don't celebrate them, or if you celebrate something else, I'm shit with most things that has to do with religion, so I'm sorry I can't really wish you happy anything else because I don't really know the names of any. But whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate or anything, have a happy holidays. Enjoy the fact that you most likely have some time off school because, you know, we all need that sometimes. I'll see you next time. Bye!